destroy it.
Hey everyone, Mr. DVB here. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing Morbius, the highly anticipated Sony Marvel movie brought to us by a director whose name I can't remember off the top of my head. This is a movie that I don't think anybody was really excited for. I certainly wasn't. I don't know a whole lot about the character of Morbius. I know he's sometimes a Spider-Man villain, other times not. It's kind of the extent of my knowledge. I thought it was sort of weird when Sony announced they were going to be making a Morbius movie. Just the whole idea of them making a bunch of like separate spin-off films about different Spider-Man villains was sort of weird to me. I don't like the idea of that. Now we're getting like a Kraven the Hunter movie next year. I don't know. Seems kind of pointless and weird, but anyways, Morbius, here it is in its glory. This movie is getting abysmal reviews. It has like a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes right now, which is incredibly bad. That is a super low score for a movie. I did not have high expectations for this movie whatsoever, but I wasn't expecting it to be that low. So I went into it with even lower expectations than I originally would have, and they were low to begin with. So I went into this movie not really expecting anything but just a terrible film, and I will say this, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I think because I went in with such low expectations, I found myself being mildly entertained. It is not a good movie at all. Like, it's not a good film, but it's not atrocious. It's not like a 1 out of 10 unbearable mess. It's just not a good movie. I would probably say that I enjoyed it more than the 2018 Venom film. I think both of them are not good movies, but I think this film was maybe a tad bit better. I don't know. Again, it's not like I'm saying this is a great film by any means, but it was very mediocre, and at times there was like some enjoyment I got from it. I'll start off with the storyline. This movie follows Michael Morbius, who is this doctor who suffers from this rare blood disease that has been affecting him since birth. It is going to kill him, and so he is working on a cure for this so that he can help himself and others with the same disease. And he discovers these bats that have something in their blood or in their saliva or something like that that can basically produce like antibodies for like the issues he has in his bloodstream. But this goes horribly wrong, and it turns him into a vampire-like creature who needs to feed on blood in order to survive, thus creating Morbius the Living Vampire, which the movie is not called, it's just called Morbius, but in the comics he is referred to as the Living Vampire. And yeah, I mean, that is the movie summarized. You also have Matt Smith in this movie playing a hilarious villain. There is one scene in particular with this character that I just loved so much, so there's that. But yeah, it's not a good movie. It's a very like strange film at many times. It's very oddly paced. Like the movie has kind of the same issue I had with Venom, where the main part of the story is very rushed. Like the opening scene is just like something I wasn't expecting. I was expecting to happen like 30 minutes into the movie, and it's literally just the opening scene. So that's what I mean. Like, it's just very oddly paced. There's times where characters will be having a discussion, and then their voice sort of just becomes voiceover, and a different scene's playing out. And then we cut back to, like, them with the same dialogue talking, but now it's just like they're back in their room. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It was just very weirdly edited in that way. It feels like they were probably supposed to be separate scenes, but they wanted to make the movie shorter, so they just decided to take those clips and then put them over top of the current dialogue. And it just causes things to feel kind of messy when it really does not need to be whatsoever. So the movie definitely feels like it was trying to cut stuff down, but at the same time, it also felt kind of slow at times, which was weird. There's just a lot of scenes of characters in laboratories talking to each other, and not a whole lot of like action or like vampire moments. It's also a film that definitely wants to be rated R, but it isn't. They still got away with like some decent blood stuff here and there. Like, it was better than Venom in my opinion as far as like what they were able to show, because Venom felt like it was really trying to like stay away from like showing anything too violent, whereas like this movie, it is able to show a little bit more. You kind of have to if you're gonna have like a vampire character, but still it felt like it wanted to be R, but it just couldn't commit to it. So that was a little like annoying at times, but it wasn't as big of a deal as it was with like the Venom films in my opinion. As far as the cast goes, Jared Leto is fine in the movie. Like, I don't really understand why people think Jared Leto is such a terrible actor. He is quite a good actor, actually. Like, he's literally won an Oscar for a great performance in Dallas Buyers Club. He's in movies like, Requiem for a Dream. He's very good in Blade Runner 2049 for, like, the kind of short appearance he has. It's just, like, a lot of people, I guess, just bash on him for his Joker, which I agree is terrible, but he also is given, like, some of the worst dialogue in that movie, so I don't really entirely blame him for it. In this movie, again, he's not given a very good script, but the dialogue's never, like, painfully cringeworthy like it was when he was playing Joker. It's just a very stale script. So his performance it's fine. Like, there's nothing bad about it, in my opinion. He just comes across as very, like, like, he's fine. But I don't think it's a bad performance. This isn't going to, like, win people over on Jared Leto, but it's not a bad performance in any way, in my opinion. Everybody else is just there. Tyrus Gibson is in the movie. His role feels very cut down. In the trailer, there's a few shots of, like, his robotic arm. You only see it, like, once in this movie, and I think there was supposed to be a fight scene between the two of them, so there's certainly stuff that, like, Sony cut out of this movie, and it just feels weird because the stuff that they kept in was honestly not the most exciting. Like, just, like I said, a lot of laboratory scenes of just characters talking about what's going on. The movie story is kind of, like, non-existent. But I don't know, I still didn't hate it. Like, it's not a good movie, but I just wasn't, like, I think I was expecting it to be atrocious, and it wasn't. So I was, like, mildly, I wouldn't say surprised, because that's definitely not the right word, but I guess it was higher than, or it was better than my expectations, I guess. It's still not a good movie, though. Would I recommend seeing it? Probably not. I mean, like, maybe just, like, if you have nothing to do, it's a shitty day, or it's, like, cheap day, then maybe check it out, but it's definitely not, like, a rush to the theaters to go see it, opening weekend type film. Not that anybody is, anyways. The other thing I want to talk about very briefly is the mid-credit scenes. I'm not going to spoil them, but the director literally talked about these scenes in full detail, like, a week before the movie came out, so I guess they just didn't care. And they are really bad scenes. Like, they feel very strangely put together, very poorly written. It feels like a last-minute decision where they're like, yeah, let's record these scenes, and the dialogue for them, especially the second scene in particular, is so bad. I'd still say it's worth watching the scenes if you do end up seeing the movie, but it is very poorly written, very forced dialogue. It doesn't make much sense. There's also, like, some very questionable moments in this movie. Like, for example, there's a scene where they're on a ship, and this one guy says, I'm gonna go check on the doctor, just to, like, see how he's doing. And then he brings an assault rifle with him. Like, there's just moments like that, or one moment where Morbius is escaping from these people, and he, like, jumps up, like, probably 20 flights of stairs, and then he gets to the roof, and then, like, 2 seconds later, the people chasing him are already at the roof, and it makes no sense how they got up there that fast. So there's a lot of, like, very odd moments like that, and just weird, confusing situations. And the CGI is also very questionable. For the first half, there's, like, a few hit-or-miss CGI moments, but the second half, especially just, like, the final fight of the movie, was bordering on, like, PS2 graphics. I don't know why they relied so much on CGI for the vampire faces. I feel like they should have incorporated more practical effects. Like, I can understand, like, when he's going from, like, regular face to vampire face, but when it's, like, a full scene of them in vampire face, just do that as makeup. Like, it'll look better than, like, the awful CGI that just looks really strange. There's also a very heavy overusage of slow-mo in the fight scenes in this movie. So yeah, don't really have much else to say. There's some cool sound design here. Like, whenever he uses his bat radar echolocation thing, the bass is really cool. So there were some, like, things like that. I don't really know, guys. It's a movie. It's better than I was expecting. It's still not a good movie. That's how I would describe Morbius. If you are somebody who wants to go see, like, a very mediocre vampire movie with PS2 cutscene graphics, then this is the film for you.
Kill the world, or to destroy it.
So there you have it, guys. That is my review for Morbius. I will see you next time, where I will be reviewing maybe Sonic 2. I might go see that, honestly. I still haven't even seen the first one. But I will definitely be reviewing Ambulance when it comes out, and I'll maybe see Fantastic Beasts. I don't know. I didn't ever end up watching the second one, so I'll have to catch up on that. But anyways, until next time, I am Mr. DVB, signing out.